Did you say?
When they're relining the field, you want to make sure you're looking ahead at least 30 feet so that you're keeping a straight line and focused on the line so you don't mess it up after it's done.
The lines are perfect. So, you're going to want to get in closer because there's a little notch thing in there.
Okay.
Basically, as you can see, these machines, here you go, I'll get you the best sun view. They've got two clips going across right here, and the container has a little flat tip like that, sort of triangular. Basically what you want to do is this tip has got to fit in that little slit right there in the container. So, first of all, you shake up the can. This can's already mostly empty, but you shake it up for a good 30 seconds or so. Then this guy lines up with the slit, put it just to the left, and it just sort of wedges in like that and clips.
Okay.
And that way you have working paint.
Ah.
Your arrows, you got one arrow on the back showing where, like if you're lining up with a string, you got this arrow right here, you got another arrow in the front, and you pretty much just keep this sort of like a little cart running down a cable car.
Oh, okay.
Sort of
So
running
just
down
keep
the
it on
line.
that line.
So you sort of look alternating between right at the line and like about 5-10 feet ahead, just to make sure you're not doing this sort of, you know, auto correction that's way overboard and end up with a snake line.
Now, John?
Yeah.
And just relining the fields, though, you've given us the instruction on them.
The fields, what Leroy was saying about making sure that you're looking ahead to see where the line is, especially since you're not following something as exact as, you know, a string or as thin as a string, so you can really line it up. Really makes sure, because you can kind of, I'd like to say I did a pretty good job of, you know, like following the string, but you're gonna have wobble whenever you're lining the field. So if you can just sort of, the reason you look ahead is to get an average of where the line is going, so that, you know, if the field is really badly lined, at least you're not following and over exaggerating those mistakes.
Any tips for going around in the circle, in the center circle? Okay.
So
And
So
it'd probably be better to do it with the machine than by hand when you're relining it.
When you're relining the field, I wouldn't do it by hand at all.
Okay.
Yes, you use the machine, you keep your weight on the back wheels, and let the front wheels just sort of drift as you're steering it around. And the same method goes for the when U6 and U8 fields don't have the penalty spot and penalty circles that go above the penalty box, but the same method goes for doing those arcs. At the top of the box. So yeah, that's doing your circles. You can sort of see when these guys get low, they sort of start spraying a little cloud of paint, and they make a hissy sound that's a little different than the other one. So basically, that's your indicator of when these guys are getting low, I guess.
So how many paint cans does it usually take to line a field?
Well, if you double back on lines like this, it would take more, obviously, but usually it takes about 4 to 6 paint cans to do a full-size field.